Was it really as simple as Jalen or the Phillies just needed to wait to get to June? Like literally, June 1st rolls around and they're a good baseball team again. Like, was it really that simple? Just wait for June. The season starts in June. Like, I cannot comprehend how that is actually how it's working out for the Phillies team. We got Sixers on the agenda along with the Phillies. Sixers rumors, Eagles, Jalen Hurts. The disrespect is starting, trending in the AM. It starts in 30 seconds.
Fourth and goal.
And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. We're live. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, you know the drill. Every day, like, share, retweet, subscribe, turn on the notifications, follow, shout it from the rooftop, pound the like buttons, pound the share buttons. Tell everybody. Trending in the AM, the first and best daily sports YouTube show here in Philadelphia. The best one and the only one where your opinions actually matter. We got lots on the agenda today. Phillies, they're getting hot. Are they? Is it a June thing? Are they getting hot? What's going on? We're going to talk some Phillies today. I know it's not everybody's favorite topic, but we are going to talk some Phillies. Aaron Nola, the confidence meter on him. Any more Sixers offseason rumors? Got some notes here on that. The Jalen Hurts, Chris Sims. It's happening again. We got that on the agenda, and we are going to ring that freaking bell today. Good morning. The Eagles could be better. They're going to be great. Don't worry. Good morning, Adam. How you doing today, everybody? Again, make sure you hit that like button, share button, depending on whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube. If you're watching on Twitter, enjoy the show or head over to the Facebook or YouTube page of Philadelphia Sports Network. That's where you can get interactive with the show. Put your comments up on the screen, and we can interact because your opinions do actually matter to me. Unlike the other podcasts, where it's just two hosts or three hosts talking. Nah, not here. This show is about you, the people, and we're just going to talk about it. But what about those Phillies? Got to get the coffee in this morning. What about those Phillies? Win last night, 8-3. I mean, big surprise. Detroit Tigers throwing out a guy on the mound with the name Wentz. Either Wentz was going to get his revenge or he was going to completely implode because that name Wentz never translates to success in Philadelphia. And the Phillies did what they're supposed to do, jumped all over this young pitcher of the Tigers. Honestly, I don't even know if he's younger now. I just know he's a bad pitcher. And everything wrote on the wall outside of his name that it's the type of guy the Phillies struggle against. But it's June now. And all of a sudden, it's like June 1st. Switch is flipped. What is up, my man? How you doing this morning, Eric? Great to see you. Today's a partial baseball day. I am going to spend some time talking baseball. But if you put other things in there, we will address them. We will. I got to talk a little Phillies. Sixers rumor mill is a little quiet today, so not a lot of Sixers talk. I got some Eagles things on the agenda here, the disrespected Jalen Hurts that we're going to dive into a little bit today, but we're starting off with baseball, yes. I'm a baseball fan. I was just thinking about how I've got this big giant picture of Citizen Bank Park in my other room. It's where my pool table is, putting it back here and hanging it up on the wall, just so you guys know that I'm really a baseball guy. I sound negative. Saw an interesting tweet before the show went live. Someone saying that why are people saying that anybody that criticized Trea Turner has to apologize now because he went 4 for 5 last night? What is up, my man Cam? Everybody checking in early today. Nobody wants to miss the show today. No one wanted to miss the start. I appreciate you all so much today. I saw somebody tweet that Trea Turner, everybody that bashed him apologized because he went 4 for 5 last night. I think it was 4 for 5. Let me pull up the box score here. Yeah, 4 for 5 last night, 2 home runs, a couple singles, drove in 3 runs. And you know, the grind through the baseball. And we are going to get to Jalen Hurts' disrespect later in the show. Don't you worry. What is up, Drew? Well, I have no idea. They lost this weekend. I do know that. My question, though, is when somebody posts that, why do we have to apologize? This doesn't even have to be a baseball conversation. This could be about football, basketball, hockey, soccer, whatever sport you want to talk about. Why, when a star athlete that's being paid massive money, all athletes make too much money, but that is what it is. But when your top end guys struggle massively, and we're not talking for 2 or 3 games, when we talking for 2 months, Trea Turner has struggled. He signed the biggest contract of the offseason in major leagues. And he struggled massively. Even with his 4 for 5 last night, his average only got up to 243 for the season. Why are we not allowed to criticize him? And why is that considered by some that you're a bad fan because you criticized one of your players? Like, to me, that does not make sense. Criticizing players that are struggling, to me, that shows you're passionate, that you care. Like me, I've been ultra hard on the Phillies so far this year. I've been called a topper hater, that I've got an agenda against Rob Thompson. I don't get why there's so much hate towards criticizing. Like if you just say, it's okay, it'll be fine tomorrow. Oh, it'll be fine tomorrow. Oh, it'll be fine tomorrow. Does that just mean are you just not watching what you're seeing in front of you? Like, I just don't get it. And that really got me upset this morning seeing that. Phil, I hopped in I saw you on the golf show last night. We talk golf on Monday nights, 8:00. Fairway to Heaven. Just it's a gambling and fantasy golf show. That's it. That's all we talk about on that show. Nothing else. It's not a sports talk show outside of golf. Fantasy golf is the greatest sport that nobody plays. I dare you to talk about Judo Grand Prix Dushanbe from last week. Did I say that right? Dushanbe? Yeah, I don't know. Actually, I do remember turning on ESPN in the morning on Sunday. I'm guessing that was the Grand Prix race that was on instead of Sports Center on Sunday morning. I hit 570, which is what ESPN is. Turned on the TV, and it was a race. So I did watch 1 second of it while I realized Sports Center wasn't on. I just didn't know. I will say, Grand Prix, I can talk Grand Prix for 1 second. Like, I have a Mount Rushmore I'm building of sporting events that I want to see someday in my life. And going to Monte Carlo and to see it, or Monaco, and seeing it through the streets of Monte Carlo, a Grand Prix race. I have been there before, Monaco, and it's a beautiful little country, Monaco, beautiful little town there, right on the water. And I would love to see the Grand Prix race there through the streets of Monaco. That would be an amazing thing. I've been in the Grand Casino there and stuff like that. It would be an awesome thing to see and experience in person. Just any NASCAR or Grand Prix race, period, in person would be really great to see. I've never done it. I've got 2 racetracks within an hour and a half of my house here, so it would be cool. I've been getting it from Bills fans. The plan was to get rid of Ed Oliver. He's too small, not a good star. Just extended him with $60 million. And being critical does not mean you're a bad fan. And when good things happen, it doesn't make you a flip-flopper. All it means is that you're a passionate fan, that you care about the success of your organization, the success of your franchise, the success of the teams that you support and spend your hard-earned dollars. We're not making the $300 million like Trea Turner, but we're spending our, hourly rates that we make at our jobs on tickets, on jerseys, on merchandise. So I think we're allowed to be critical when they come up short, and not just come up short for 2 or 3 days, come up short for 2 months. It's literally the story with the Phillies that once June hits, a switch flips. Kyle Schwarber is the player of the month of June 2 straight years in baseball. And June comes around, all of a sudden he's hitting again. Well, he's not even hitting that great. He was 0 for last night, but he did draw 3 walks. Like, I just don't get where this June turnaround just magically happens. Phil wants to see Buffalo Bandits lacrosse game. No, that is not on my lacrosse, my Mount Rushmore. I want the team to do things that will bring the most wins. Exactly. And when you think something's happening that's not best for your team, you're going to criticize it. I mean, that's what a fan does. They voice their displeasure, or they celebrate the glories of victory. And when I saw somebody say that you have to apologize for criticizing Trea Turner because one night he went 4 for 5, I think it's a load of horse shit. Pardon my French, but it really pisses me off. I know it's off topic. Is there any way we can make a hardened a good riddance billboard. I mean, there are people that do that right on 95. Like they rent out that billboard for different sports, like things. Like get on the phone with one of the. Like I don't have a budget. I can't personally do it, but maybe hit up some of the bigger media members that have a budget, and maybe they'll do it for you. I don't make the money here. Philly's on a 3-game winning streak. Like it's insane. And my question, Marshawn, is this: I'm going to pose your question with my own question. Is this 3-game winning streak the Phillies are on? Is it a matter of the June flip switch, or is it because we were playing the Nationals and now we're playing the Detroit Tigers? Two of the worst teams in baseball. Like even if they win tonight and win tomorrow and sweep this Tigers series, and that would mean they'd be on a 5-game winning streak. Then we go and face 3 against the Dodgers, and then we go out to Arizona for 4 against the Diamondbacks. That's where you tell whether this is a June turnaround or just a matter of playing some really bad teams. And that's a big question to me. Big question. Apologize. Yeah, it's cringe. I don't ever apologize for making passionate opinions on my sports teams. Now, I will admit when I'm wrong. And I'm not ready to admit I'm wrong on the Phillies team yet. They're playing really good for 3 or 4 days in a row now. Aaron Nola looked great last night. Nick Castellanos, we're going to get into Nick Castellanos, I'm sure, at some point. Fantastic. But I'm the only person that does content creation out there, especially in the Philadelphia area. I guarantee, because I watch a lot of YouTube shows, a lot of Twitter shows, a lot of podcasts I listen to. Nobody ever admits when they're wrong. I do. I've come on this show for 20 months now. And when I'm wrong, I say, I'm wrong. And if this Phillies team goes on a run in June and ends up 5 games over 500 by the end of the month or something like that, I'll say I was wrong. But the fact that, that it's only 3 games, it's against some bad teams, not ready to do that yet. I do see some good positive signs that it's going to turn around. But the question is, will they be able to turn it around long term? Because there still are a lot of issues with this team. Tell your story, walk in hard and billboard. I love the idea. A whole generation never heard of and can't conceive of the idea of. Yeah, I mean, and Eric, and I don't want to get off topic fully, but I know a lot of you guys in this in chat section understand this. But constructive criticism, not being able to handle it, isn't that just like going along with the whole new generation of the participation trophy era? I call it the participation trophy era. That it's okay. We came up short, but it's okay. Good job, slugger. That's what it is. Like, you can't, I was watching my brother's, is helping coach his son's Little League team. And I'm sitting there watching the game, and it was the first game I caught of the year. And the person sitting next to me is like, oh, this kid here, if something doesn't go right, he'll cry. And then the coaches have to go over and tell him it's okay. If you get out, I understand crying, you're whatever, and they're young kids, but teach these kids that when you make a mistake or you get out, to work harder. My nephew, he's in his driveway, hour plus every day, putting up shots because he wants to play basketball. And when he has a bad game, he's out there for 2 hours. We got to get past this, participation trophy era where criticism isn't accepted. I cheered when I beat one of my nieces in a game of checkers, and I got in trouble because that'll make them cry because I said I won. And everybody wins is what I was taught. I'm like, that's not the way it works in life. It's not. It's not. It's because we're playing trash teams. And it very well could be that the Phillies are having this success. I mean, you look at the pitcher we went up against last night. Don't call me Carson Wentz. It's the Diamondback series. It's the Dodgers series that we have to worry about. But it was at least good to see. And, pitching, not so, well, I guess pitching to an extent too. But hitting, when you got so many guys struggling, Trea Turner, Kyle Schwarber, Bryce Harper to an extent is struggling, because he's hitting really well, but only when there's nobody on base. That's why he's got only 9 RBIs on the season. Because I know he hasn't played a lot. He's played 3 or 4 weeks worth of games, but he's not driving in runs when guys are on base. It's, we went up against a pitcher last night in Wentz that we should have attacked and should have dominated. We did. And hitting can be contagious. And it can be a domino effect with the hitting. So at least if they hit now when they're supposed to, when we go up against the Dodgers, when we go up against the Diamondbacks, maybe some of it carries over. The question will be, what's up with the pitching? I mean, we still don't have a fifth starter. You can't expect bullpen games to win against the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks. Yeah, it might work against the Nationals, but not against the Dodgers. So there are. Aaron Nola had a really good outing last night. He had 6 no-hit innings. The only hit he gave up was the 3-run home run in the 7th. So there is something there that you could take some positives, but also until it's done against even an average team, you can't really feel too confident. The Diamondbacks did trash us the last time we played them. So there's going to be revenge. The Dodgers are at home here in Philly. The Diamondbacks, then we go West Coast. So there's that. I guess, but you're not even criticizing the fans. You're criticizing the athletes. Exactly. I don't ever come on here and bash. Like, no matter what your opinions are on any of the topics, I give you an open forum. I let you talk. I let you have your opinions, and we discuss them. But it's when you criticize the players and you're called a hater. Like, I just don't get it. And this topic that I'm bringing up wasn't directed at me. I mean, I've had negative comments like that directed at me. You don't know this. You don't know squat. You don't know baseball bat. Whatever. I've had those directed at me, and I accept that in the very small forum that I have. Everyone, whether I have 5 people watching the show today, we've only got 10 likes on the video so far. There's 12 people watching. Small forum. And I still, I'm still in some form of an eye of people that I get criticism directed my way, and I get it. It's fine. I'm okay with that. But it's the players. Like, you can criticize the players. Narcissists see any criticism or non-compliment as an attack. I get that. But see, the thing is, it's not like the players are yelling at the fans for criticizing them. For the most part, they understand that they're not performing up to par, at least this year with the Phillies. Like, you don't hear Trea Turner being like, I effing hate this place. Get me out of here already. It's the fans that are using, the Phillies are using the goodwill of last year's World Series magical run that they could do no wrong, this Phillies team, to some fans. And I don't think that's a fair way to judge or criticize this team. I raised my son up like me. His first karate tournament, he got a ribbon for participating for his kata. He threw it in the trash. I said, "Why did you do that?" He said, "Because I didn't win." Dude, there we go. Trying to give you a round of applause. I love that. Absolutely love that mentality. I mean, like, I'm not saying if you're not first, you're last, but you don't need a 12th place trophy. You don't need a 20th place trophy. You don't need a good job for participating trophy. Like, you just don't. And that's what's the problem with this world. I know we're getting off subject a little bit here, but that's what's the problem here. You know what I mean? Once you're 18 and you're kicked out of the nest, there are only a very few winners. Don't set up the kids for failure. Yeah, teach them how to accept, disappointment, and they'll strive for better. I really feel that that's the thing. Where's the line of criticism and hating? It's in the tone of how you do it. It's in the, in the tone. It's in the manner you say it. It's if you back it up with reasons why. If it's just, this guy sucks, and that's it, then that's trashing or hating. If it's, this guy isn't performing up to par, he's hit like Kyle Schwarber, the Kyle Schwarber hate that I got because I was criticizing him for hitting 161 and Rob Thompson not giving him a day off. He's hitting 161. I'm giving you facts and reasons why I'm criticizing him. But trashing or hating would be, that guy's a bum, get him out of here. Trade him for nothing. I saw in one of the Facebook super groups, I call them, the super fan groups, someone say, trade Joel Embiid to Portland for 2 first-round picks. Get him off my team. He's a bum. Well, that's trashing and that's hating. You know what I mean? Like, that really made no sense. That's the difference. Why doesn't dominate batters seem to affect wins in Major League? I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. I have to think about that a little bit more. You don't know Jack. I don't know Jack because I don't know to bet Justin Sue, even the weeks he's not in tournaments. I was referring to this generation seems to have a large narcissist. Yeah, it's because of the way they're brought up. That's what it is. they're brought up that they're taught that they're never wrong. When I have an employee come and ask me for a raise or something like that, that's shop, and they ask for a raise, and they say the reason they deserve a raise is because they show up every day. Not that I do my job well, or not that I do this or that right. I was literally told by an employee 2 months ago, I deserve a raise because I show up every day, and other people don't. And that's it. I'm like, well, what else do you do well at your job? He said, I don't care. I show up, and other people don't. And that is what a raise is worth nowadays to some people. Yeah, Eric's kid is the boss. I love it. Speaking of participation trophy, do you think the team who wins the in-season tournament next season in the NBA will hang up batter? Look, first and foremost, is that official, the in-season tournament next year in the NBA? Is it? Because I got to tell you, if it is, I'm not a fan. I do not like the idea of an in-season tournament. Not even in the least bit. Like, I don't even understand it. Like, I don't get it. Like, I haven't figured out or found a way to comprehend what the point of this in-season tournament that they're trying to do is. Like, I don't need an in-season tournament. I don't need the NBA regular season to get stretched out any longer. Is this tournament going to be counted towards their 82 games? If not, if it does, and the teams that get eliminated, what are they going to do to make up the 82? Like, I don't know what's going on with this in-season tournament. Actually, I'm going to do some research. In-season NBA tourney, because I haven't read up on it in a while. I know it's something they've talked about. I just think it's a god-awful idea. And maybe I don't have any facts to back it up. So, maybe I'm just being a hater and trashing, but it's a terrible idea. Nobody hates Ed Oliver, but he got like $100 million to play. I want him to bulk up and tackle quarterbacks. I mean, again, I don't know enough about Ed Oliver and the Bills situation to comment on that, chatter. But I get it. Like, you're criticizing, like why are you doing this? You want answers on why. And it's okay to say that. You're not a hater for that. Jack is in the bottom of the ocean with the Titanic. Yeah. Wasn't there a TV show, You Don't Know Jack? Like, I really think there was at some point. I love it. I love it. I love it. Absolutely. It is neutral site with different uniforms. My money is on Bradley Beal and the Wizards. Look, I just don't know. I don't get it. I don't want an in-season tournament in the NBA. It's just I don't know. I saw the original, like 2 years ago they brought it up. They talked about it again this season. It looks like it's going to happen. I just don't care. And I don't think the players, even like I saw somebody say, well, like, isn't like first place going to be like $1 million per player? Like, you think LeBron James or you say the Wizards, you think Bradley Beal cares about an in-season tournament for an extra $1 million? Like, these guys are making 20, 30, 40, $50 million a year. You think $1 million is going to sway them? It ain't going to do anything. Hang tight for 1 second. And I don't even think it's allergies anymore. I think I've gotten sick. Like, I'm trying my best to power through this show today. That's what I'm here for you guys. Powering through today for you guys. Talking, I thought we were going to spend time talking Phillies, but we're talking more about criticism and this, more worldly thought process of the participation trophy and this generation that's being brought up. And, I don't have kids. I'm 42 years old. My wife and I, we chose not to have them. But, man, I'm glad, because I would be looked upon as a bad father for the way I would raise my kid like you, Eric. Like, for the most part, nobody does that. And that's the way it should be. That's the way I was brought up. I got cut from my first baseball team in 6th grade. How old was I in 6th grade? I don't even know. What's a 6th grader? 11? 10, 11 years old, whatever it is. Because back in the day, you could get cut. Now everybody makes every team. There's no such thing as cuts anymore. And I got cut. Holy Cross Crusaders, Springfield, Pennsylvania. 6th grade baseball team. Okay? I cried. My dad pulled me aside after that after I got in the car and I was crying. He's like, why are you crying? Like, I just got cut. He's like, well, I'm like, why aren't we going home? He's like, because we're going to go to the batting cages. And we're going to work. And we're going to work all summer long. And we're going to work all fall long. And then come season, you're going to make the team next year because you're going to put the work effort in to be better. And I'm like, okay. And guess what? We worked all off season long. I didn't play any other sports. Baseball was my thing, and I was terrible at it, but it was my thing. And I made the team in 7th grade. You know why? Because I put the effort in. I put the work effort in to earn the right to be on that team. And that taught me important, valuable life lessons. Not a good job, way to go slugger for not doing well. Did the process break the NBA because of all the tanking? Like the process, it's funny. The Sixers are not the first team ever to do the process. And there's like 3 teams doing the process right now. The Sixers were the only team to market it. That's it. They're the only team to market it. They come up with catchy slogans, hashtags, trust the process, T-shirts, things that, they were selling tickets for $2 or $3, but they were still selling tickets to games in the 10-win season. Why? Because they had a catchy marketing slogan, and you knew it was part of a bigger picture. OKC, I mean, literally, when we talked about potential Joel Embiid rumors, trade rumors, and we said, could the Oklahoma City Thunder be that one team? And they could. And the proposed trade was Chet Holmgren, basically, and 7 first-round draft picks. They've literally got 4 first-round draft picks for the next 400 years because they've built the process. They've done the process. And now they're at the point where the Sixers were, where they have the assets to trade for superstars. And that's the problem. I don't know if the process broke the NBA, but it's not changing. Teams are just not marketing differently. That's all. It seems dumb to us, but it'll make investors a lot of money, fans like them. Yeah, I guess so. In-season tournaments, I just hate them. How does this generation deal with getting their hearts broken? To be fair, this generation has seen a lot more messed up things. That's a fair point. I mean, this world's a part of my French world. It really is. I don't get political or stuff like that very often on this show. But man, this. How do I relate this? Obviously, it looks like there's another Indianapolis Colts player that's getting suspended for gambling on sports. Young people these days don't realize there's consequences for their actions. They think that they could just get away with anything. And then when they get to the real world, they break a rule. And how many NFL players are going to be suspended for the full season because of gambling on football? And it's like, it's not like this rule is not known. Like, you're taught day one, rookie symposium, and the NFL is a rookie. Rule 1, don't gamble. Plain and simple. But yet they keep doing it. And there's an argument to be made that, the NFL is double standard because their biggest sponsors are gambling sites, etc. It's different. It doesn't matter. You're told what the rules are. You break them. Most jobs, you break a rule. If you're told this job has a no drug policy and you get drug tested, you fail your drug test, you're fired. At least in the NFL, you're breaking the laws. You're just getting suspended. Like other jobs, you break a rule that big, you're fired. So I think that's interesting. I keep track. The Knicks, Kings, Celtics, T-Wolves, Lakers, we're all doing the process at the same time, and some longer than the process. Exactly. Everyone's done the process. Everyone has. It's just a matter of Sam Hinkie being a marketing guy and having a way to market it to the people so that they make some of the money that they're losing back. And there's a reason why I tuned into almost every single one of the 10-72 Sixers games. Because the process was entertaining because of the way they presented it to the fans. Also, the Celtics tanked and tried to land Tim Duncan. The Spurs tanked to land Duncan, and now Wemby. Yeah, exactly. Now they're trying to eliminate that a little bit by changing the odds of the ping pong balls. So that, to me, is very telling. You can be the worst team and get the 10th pick in the draft. I get that. Some will say it's rigged. Is it rigged? I don't know. I think if anything, like the draft lottery, or if anything that's joked about being rigged actually came out as being rigged for real, like the world of sports in general would just blow up. It would be insane. To be fair, the Knicks and Kings can't draft to save their lives. Absolutely. Like, it's funny. Teams tank. Teams tank. Teams clear salary cap space They do it all the time. Like, how many teams, the last time LeBron James was a free agent and he went to the Heat, like, how many teams cleared cap space and tanked so that they had money and draft picks to get and build around LeBron? But there was only one LeBron. And, the Knicks did it and ended up with Julius Randle and the team they're with now because they didn't land LeBron. Like, it's really weird to watch how, teams try to, they center 3 off seasons from now. This guy's going to be a free agent. So for the next 2 years, we're just going to do all this to hope to get this player. Iconic. You think it is rigged? I mean, there's an argument to be made that there is a slight chance that is. I have not watched the Patrick Ewing draft 30 for 30 yet. I didn't even know there was one on that. I will go back and watch that though, because I think 30 for 30s are fantastically done. I cannot wait. I'm still holding out hope that someday there's a 30 for 30 on the process. And you don't even have to come up with a catchy title. It's just going to be ESPN 30 for 30, the process. It could probably be a 2-part series. Hell, I would like to see a Netflix documentary on it too. I mean, Netflix does great documentaries on all topics. Look, we got a lot of people watching. There's only 11 likes on the video right now. Make sure if you're watching on YouTube, you hit the like button. If you're watching on Twitter, jump on over to the YouTube page so I can get your thoughts on all these topics, off your chest, and I can hear what you have to say. Everybody, see, this is the thing. Like, I get why you guys think it's rigged. I do. I mean, there's no reason why you shouldn't think that. But if it comes out that it is rigged, like, it might be the end of like, not only will Silver be fired, like, I don't know how the NBA continues on. Like, that would, if it came out and somebody dug up evidence and proof that the NBA draft is rigged, or the draft lottery, mind you, is rigged. Like, I don't know how the NBA continues on. Like, how it would even survive that kind of a, story. Like, that would go down as probably one of the 2 or 3 biggest sports stories or scandals of all time. Like I even thinking about it blows my mind. Like, there's no way that the NBA would survive. Like, I don't even know if you guys are, like, when you say it's rigged, like, do you comprehend, like, what would happen if it was actually proven? Like, it's insane. It really is. Hoping for a 30 for 30 on Wentz one day. Man, the story. Can we just do a 30 for 30 on Ben Simmons and Carson Wentz? And that's it. I mean, like, ESPN's got to be waiting for their playing careers to end so they can start doing that, because that would be one interesting set of stories right there. Only issue with the process is lots of teams do it quietly. Bills trust the process for exactly. It's just the only difference between the Sixers and the rest of the sports world is that, I mean, teams tanked for Andrew Luck. Teams tank for, a lot of quarterbacks. Everybody wants the number 1 pick to get the top quarterback every year. I mean, it is what it is, but it's the way you do it. I predict LeBron, Derrick Rose, and Anthony Davis drafts. You predicted those drafts. Well, we knew LeBron was going 1 overall. That was obvious. Actually, I saw a fun trade rumor the other day. You bring up Anthony Davis, that there was a fun trade rumor. It was a 3-team trade. I forget who was involved, but Anthony Davis was coming to the Sixers in this trade. I was like, Anthony Davis, Joel Embiid would be entertaining, but I don't know. The only people we were giving up really, we only gave up 3 players in the deal: Tobias, Furkan, and Springer. I don't know, Anthony Davis next to Joel Embiid. Would you want that? Interesting little thought there. The Pistons lost a ton of games, and the Spurs land Wemby. NBA still hates the Pistons. Well, why did the Pistons lose all those games? That's the question. Well, they lost because Cade Cunningham got hurt and missed a majority of the season. So it's not even like they were tanking, because it's Cade Cunningham and who was the guy they drafted last year? I can't think of his name. So they had their young duo. They drafted their guys. And I think Cade Cunningham, if he comes back healthy, is going to be a hell of a guard in the NBA. They built their young core. That's why I think the Detroit Pistons, are on the up and up. And when let me go back 2 pages here. Who did they hire to be their coach? Monty Williams. They gave him a lot of money in a lot of years. But I think it's they're all on the ascension. The Detroit Pistons are actually where the Detroit Lions were when they hired Dan Campbell. on the ascension, almost there. They still need another star. They still need something else, but they're getting there. And they're trending upwards for sure. And they're doing it the right way for sure. NBA draft, worst kept secrets in sports. Hey, I want somebody to prove it. Dude, could you imagine what this show would be like the morning after something like the NBA draft lottery was rigged for X amount of years and we've got proof? Like, could you imagine what we would have to talk about on this show? Like the NBA folding, titles being meaningless those years. You know, like I don't even know how, like, it's insane. You would basically just put every player back out there and, like, you know, just say, let's just redraft the NBA, basically. Like, it's really that crazy. I don't know how the Sixers dumbass owner freaking celebrating us having a 10-win season. Basically. Yeah. I mean, that's what happened. It really is what happened. The celebration of the 10. And I remember watching some of those games and be like, this TJ McConnell kid, he's good. Or, you know, this guy's good. And hell, I remember the year before when Jahlil Okafor's rookie year, man, I thought Okafor was going to be the real deal. Boy, was I wrong on that. But the process sold us on bad basketball and said it was okay because we were building something bigger. And it didn't work out. Doc got screwed. I wanted him to get the Suns job. I honestly, you know, I've been told I'm a Doc hater. Obviously, I plenty times I talked about fire Doc Rivers for 2 years on this show. I've wanted Doc Rivers to take a year off to play golf for years, not just for the betterment of the Sixers, but overall. Like, if you really think about Doc Rivers play when you start playing basketball, when you're 8, 9 years old. When my nephew's 7, he's playing in leagues. You know, he started playing basketball, played in high school, played in college, went right to the pros, went right from the pros, right to the bench as a coach. This guy, Doc Rivers, he's what, 59, 60, 61, probably somewhere around there in age, has not had a year off from basketball since he started playing basketball. I saw it last season at times on the bench. You could just see the energy, like he needed a break, that he was burned out. And I think Doc Rivers taking 1 year off, and there's still, whose job's still open? The Raptors' job is still open. Like, I don't want him to get the Raptors' job. I don't. I want Doc Rivers to take a year off, go play a boatload of golf, refresh the mind, and then next offseason, if he comes out and says, yeah, I want to get back into it, I bet you Doc Rivers at his next job after a year off will be a better coach than he was the last 3 years. And it doesn't matter what team he takes, what situation the team is, that break, I'm not going to lie, will do wonders for Doc Rivers, in my opinion. Not going to lie, I used to love Brett Brown telling our players to their faces they weren't NBA talent. They used to play their asses off for him. I was a Brett Brown guy. When we lost, I mean, I blamed him more than Ben Simmons when we lost Jimmy Butler. Brett Brown was, after Brett Brown left and after, you know, it sat with me for a little bit, Brett Brown was really good at developing young players. I mean, I actually had this conversation yesterday with one of my employees at work about the fact that some half-decent NBA players came out of the process. I mean, Jeremy Grant is obviously we talked about him, you know, yesterday on the show. You know, would you want him back here? He's got a player option that he's going to decline. Maybe you could do a sign and trade with Portland to get him here, you know. But outside of him, like Brett Brown started the development process on Jeremy Grant. TJ McConnell has become a very solid, you know, NBA player, bench guy, but he has. You know, Jakar Sampson had a short little run. Nerlens Noel's become a viable backup center in the NBA. There are some guys from the process that became really good NBA players. And you got to give Brett Brown. Like, I actually thought this past year, the Spurs were so bad, Popovich is Popovich. I thought Popovich was going to step back at some point this past year. Say, I just need a little bit of a break. I'm going to let Brett Brown was brought back to San Antonio to be back with Pop, where he got his start as a bench coach. Like, I really thought that there was a point where Brett Brown was just going to take over in an interim so Pop can rest a little bit. And then they get the number 1 pick. They get Wemby, and then Pop takes back over this year. It's like when Pat Riley took over the Heat that 1 year, you know, after sitting out for a while. Like, I really thought that was going to be be the situation there because Brett Brown knows how to maximize young players' talent to at least have some effort. Now, Brett Brown, once he had talent and big stars, couldn't manage the egos of the big stars. Obviously, why the Jimmy Butler relationship in Philly didn't work. But for the most part, the process error part and the little success we had was because of Brett Brown. Media guys have told Bills this is not good enough to win in playoffs in press conference. They no longer working with their companies. Yeah, I mean, that's why I brought up on a show I did last week, like the King, Howard Eskin. Look him up. He's a legend in Philly, iconic chatter media. I mean, he's never going to get fired because at this point he can't. But he pressed Nick Nurse multiple times when Nick Nurse deflected answers on James Harden. You know, very rarely will media even ask hard questions across the board anymore because they're worried about losing their credentials. Don't forget Brett Brown developed hey, absolutely, because he was there in San Antonio. I still say to this day, Kawhi Leonard being successful is my greatest prediction. Because when he was in his second or third year, he was just a defensive guy, wasn't scoring. I'm like, yo, the Sixers should make a move. Go get Kawhi Leonard. This guy's going to be a stud one day. That's why I still want him. I mean, I know we've brought up a million different trade scenarios and ideas across the board for the Sixers team. Kawhi Leonard is the one I would love to see Kawhi Leonard paired with Joel Embiid. Hey, bring back Brett Brown while you're at it. Nah, just kidding. I'll be curious to see who Nick Nurse fills his bench out with assistant coaches wise. Will it be all guys that worked under him in Toronto? Will he bring in different guys? Will any Sixers, obviously Sam Cassell moved on to Boston. I'll be very curious to see what kind of assistants he brings in. It has nothing to do with Kawhi, but I'd be really curious to see because assistant coaches really do play a role in developing the young players. They're the ones after practice hanging back, not the head coach on shoot-arounds or extra drills. You think about it, everyone gives Sam Cassell all the credit for Tyrese Maxey's leap in success. Yet they give Doc Rivers all the criticism that other guys didn't develop. It's kind of funny how that works, a two-way street there. Like Tyrese Maxey's becoming a superstar, 22 years old. Great job, assistant coach Sam Cassell. Paul Reed's not developing. Shake Milton's not developing. Jalen McDaniels isn't developing. Doc Rivers is to blame for all that. Why doesn't Doc Rivers get any of the credit for Tyrese Maxey? Or Sam Cassell doesn't get any of the criticism for the other guys? I think it's a very interesting thought process, very interesting topic there that to me doesn't make sense. Where one guy gets the credit for success, the other guy gets all the credit for all the failures. There's got to be a little middle ground there. Have I had a chance to see NBA draft prospects? Well, obviously Wemby is very good. And they're comparing him. They're saying that Wemby, I can't say his full name. I'll just say Wemby because it's easy to do the nickname. That if he was in the same draft as LeBron James as a rookie, that he would be taken ahead of LeBron James. That's how high his potential can be. Now, I don't know. I don't watch a lot of college basketball. I don't watch a lot of college sports in general. I don't know a lot about them. But from what I'm reading, from what I'm seeing, that the top 4 or 5 picks, and anybody watching, count on this, at least the top 4 or 5 picks that are going to go in this draft are all game changers. It's a much deeper top end of the draft than the last few years. So even if you didn't land the number 1 pick like the Spurs did, you got a chance to get a game changer 2, 3, 4, for sure. That's what I'm reading. But I don't know. I think too much is put on these young kids to have to succeed right from the get-go. In all sports, honestly. I mean, you look at it in the NFL draft with quarterbacks going. You got C.J. Stroud. You got Anthony Richardson. All these quarterbacks that got drafted. They're put in bad situations. They're going to be forced to succeed. I mean, Wemby's going to go to Spurs. The Spurs are a trash team. They don't have any players to put with them. It's going to be the Wemby show. And it's going to be all on him. And he's, 19 years old? And he's going to have the weight of a franchise. The weight of a franchise that's won how many titles on their shoulders. Ahead of LeBron. That's hard to imagine. I mean, they're saying, I've read multiple reports from very smart people that say if rookie LeBron James, you take what he was his rookie year, or going into that draft, that year he was drafted, put him in this draft with the way the NBA is currently played, that Wemby would be taking 1, LeBron would be taking 2. That's insane. That literally is insane. But I don't know. And you know what? With the Sixers not having a first-round draft pick right now, I'm not even totally worried about the draft. Like, I don't even know if I'll watch the NBA draft since the Sixers don't have a draft pick right now. Like, I really don't even care. I mean, I don't even know when the next time. I think the Sixers have a draft pick next year, but they're not allowed to trade it. So I don't even know. Like, I don't care. You know what I mean? I just don't. Man, we've gone off on so many tangents today. It's great. Only 12 likes on the video. Make sure you're liking this video. Whatever. We got 15 minutes left. I said we would talk Phillies. We did a little bit. We didn't get too deep into the Phillies, but I'm putting up the topics I put up there. Make sure you're liking, sharing, retweet, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Phillies, are they getting hot, or is it because of bad teams? Do you have any confidence in Aaron Nola after last night's 6 no-hit innings and 3 runs in the 7th? More offseason rumors. You guys talked about Dylan Brooks yesterday a little bit. Zach Lavine, I saw a name. We could save the Jalen Hurts conversation for tomorrow or for Friday. But that is also on the table right now. Whatever you want to talk about, it is here. I'm there for it. The kid is going to Wemby is going to go to the perfect organization. The Spurs don't rush anything. They don't force anything. They don't do anything wrong. But also, they're a bad team. And if Wemby's got LeBron James comparisons going on, there is going to be some expectations on him to succeed, or at least to turn it around a little bit pretty quickly. So I do worry about that a little bit. Now, I do like the fact that Wemby's playing professionally overseas versus college, and that seems to be a way some kids are going now. Go earn a paycheck in Europe for their 1 year, and then go into the pros. Different level of basketball than college. So that is interesting. Eagles going to win me a lot of money this season. Did you make any bets on the Eagles already? Like, I don't know what to do with the Eagles, betting wise, at least with futures. Like, there's not enough. Like, I only bet like $5 on one Eagle to win MVP. Like, I bet $5 on Nick Castellanos to win MLB MVP. He's actually having a great season. He's 4th in batting average, 2nd in doubles, 3rd in hits. I mean, guy's tearing it up. But I bet $5 on him to win MVP at 100-1. Yeah, I can't. What's Jalen Hurts, like 8-1 to win MVP or something like that? $5 don't give me any juice. Like, do I bet more or do I do something else? Did Vegas win what? Oh, hockey probably. Oh, you're probably talking NHL. I thought you hated it when I talked NHL. I'm going to tell you. Give me a second. NHL. Vegas won 7-2 last night over the Florida Panthers. They have a 2-0 series lead, and it's going back to Florida for Game 3. There. That is my hockey chat for the day. That's it. That's all you're getting hockey-wise from me. I just gave you the results of the NHL Stanley Cup last night. Right there. That's it. But back to the Eagles. Like, we could start this conversation now. I mean, obviously, there's 2 things that have come out massively disrespectful towards the Eagles lately that I've seen across some things here. First off, I teased this picture yesterday. Okay? Let me get Eric's comment off the screen so you can see this. All right? Some Facebook group put this up there. And this is a professionally done graphic. You see these like chain things all over Twitter and Facebook. Start, bench, cut. Whether it's players, serials, TV shows, whatever it may be. They put Justin Fields, Lamar Jackson, and Jalen Hurts in the conversation together. You can start one, you can bench one, and you can cut one. I think it's pretty obvious that you're not cutting Jalen Hurts. But yet the disrespect across those, there are still people out there that are saying you cut Jalen Hurts because Lamar's the real deal and Justin Fields has got the future potential. Anybody that says they're cutting Jalen Hurts off this list out of these 3 quarterbacks did not watch football last year. Like, I don't know what else Jalen Hurts has to do to earn the respect of NFL fans, of NFL analysts, out of NFL anything. Like, how you could choose to cut Jalen. If you want to say I'm starting Lamar Jackson and benching Jalen Hurts, I don't agree. But Lamar Jackson is a former MVP. So you've got at least something there. Justin Fields, has to be the bench or the cut guy. There are people saying start Justin Fields. Lamar Jackson, yeah, he's a former MVP, but he's been injured. He's a bit of a head case with the contract. All right, so you can bench him, you can cut him, whatever. But there's no way, shape, or form that you're anything but a hater if you're saying cut Jalen Hurts. It blows my mind that people still feel that way. Hunter Renfrow to the Eagles. We can get into that. I'm going to write that down in case we don't get to it completely. But I think that's an interesting rumor that has popped up. Maybe we'll save that for Football Friday. If your sports finals not on network TV, it's kind of a joke. Hurts start. You got to start Hurts in this group here. Fields cut, so yeah, I mean it has to be. The thing with Lamar Jackson is he's been banged up a lot lately. He has been, and he obviously had some contract situations, that he battled with. But I just don't understand. What I love about the Eagles, they don't give a shit about what anyone says about them, and this is great, Joey. Old Eagles, from past eras, let the outside negativity, the outside criticism affect them. They let the outside stuff fracture the locker room. They let the outside noise, cause issues. Not this current crop. And why? Why does that happen? Because you've got the ultimate leader in Jalen Hurts that holds this team together so well. It's thick as glue, this team, because of Jalen Hurts. You also have other great leaders like Brandon Graham and Jason Kelsey and Fletcher Cox and Darius. You've got other leaders. You've got a great coach in Nick Sirianni that knows the pulse of his players really well. But they don't let the outside noise distract them. And you know what? Say what you will about Jalen Hurts. Maybe I'm putting too much of it on Jalen Hurts, Joey. But I give all the credit in the world to Jalen Hurts because, I want to talk about we're running low on time, so we'll pick it up tomorrow or maybe on Friday with all Football Friday talk. But obviously the new Chris Sims quarterback ranking list is going out. And again, Chris Sims, no offense to Chris Sims, and I don't like to play this card. But is he racist, honestly? First you have 2 years ago, you got Kelly Mond ranked on a top 40 list and Jalen Hurts off the list. Last year, you had Zach Wilson ranked ahead of Jalen Hurts after he led the Eagles to the playoffs against Tampa. And this year, he plays in the freaking Super Bowl, and he's got Jalen Hurts ranked as the 7th best quarterback in the NFL. He's got Lamar Jackson ahead of him. He's got Trevor Lawrence ahead of him. He's got Justin Herbert in the top 4, probably. The top 4 haven't been released, but it's going to be Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, and Herbert in the top 4. They're the only 4 quarterbacks left. Chris Sims is obviously super overly biased against Jalen Hurts. The people with the start sit him thing, cut him thing, biased against Jalen Hurts. I don't know what else Jalen Hurts has to do to prove himself to anybody. But he does not let that affect him. He does not let it hurt anything. You don't even hear his teammates coming out to defend him because the teammates know that they don't have to defend him. That's really something that's really big to me. Yes, he does do it for clicks to an extent. He knows that when he puts certain guys in certain points, that there are actually, if you look at this list, and I'm going to try to find, I know I've got it tweeted somewhere that I could do it. All right, so here's, I've got it on a side screen. He's got Daniel Jones ranked as the 11th best quarterback. Vikings fans are pissed. He's got Cousins at 12. Cowboys fans are pissed that they got, him at 13. You got Ryan Tannehill at 16, ahead of Derek Carr, Kyler Murray, Mac Jones, Tua Tagovailoa, Justin Fields. We know Ryan Tannehill isn't the 16th best quarterback. There are plenty of clickbait things he does to do. He's got C.J. Stroud ranked ahead of Bryce Young. He's got Anthony Richardson ahead of Bryce Young. He's got Mike White, the backup, He's got Mike White and Tyler Huntley, the backups for their teams, ahead of other starters. Like, he does do it for the clickbait part of it. I get that. But also, to an extent, some of it I think he really truly believes. Like, I think there's not just the clicks, it's a bias. Like, it really is. Like, he just doesn't buy the running quarterback situation. He doesn't buy Jalen Hurts' game for some reason. And it's pathetic. MVP, has Lamar ever won a playoff? I think he's won one playoff game, actually. I'm not positive on that, but I think he has. The year before, it was sympathetic. I think he could be good. Like, well, he's better than good, obviously. How he became John Elway the next year, like, yeah, like, and I think this is going to actually be the topic, for Friday's Off Football Friday that we're going to start with, and we'll see where it goes from there. I don't have any guests lined up for Friday. I think we'll just talk football on Friday, all of us. Jalen Hurts went from being a mid quarterback. See, I see what I said there, Johnny? I used the word mid. He was a mid quarterback. I knew it. Everybody knew it. He went from a mid quarterback to being one of the elite. Like, how does he even take a bigger step? Does he take a step? Does him staying the same equate success, a successful season for Jalen Hurts? Because he can't take that big of a jump again. He can't go from John Elway to Tom Brady this season, can he? Like, I really don't know. Chris loves to hate us because he ain't us. Yeah, I mean, part of it is the clickbait. He knows Philly's going to get pissed off. He does. And he knows that Dallas is going to be pissed off at Giants, or that Daniel Jones is ranked ahead of him. Like, there's no way, shape, or form. Like, I hate the Cowboys, but there's no shape, way, or form that Daniel Jones is a better quarterback than Dak Prescott. There's none. There's no way anything we've seen over the last however many years that Daniel Jones is better than Dak Prescott. Zero. Zilch. Zero. None whatsoever. Same reason the charade that with that Sharp and that other guy gets people mad. Like, well, I don't like to mention Skippy's name because he's dead to me, basically. In his defense, he's the most. Chris Sims was a bad. Yeah, I know you like me using the word mid. I like to sneak it in when and where I can. Will Fields go from mid to? That is an interesting question, and one I will be tuned into this year. Like, Jalen Hurts has kind of changed the expectations for quarterback leaps in their second and third. Like Justin Fields has to take a step forward, but no quarterback can take the step forward that Jalen Hurts did. Now the Bears have done things to improve their game. Hey, real big game from Trea Turner last night. Nobody wanted to talk. We spent some time talking Phillies. Phillies transitioned into, criticism and whether it's okay to criticize. But Trea Turner had a great game last night. I hope he's had a good game for a couple days in a row now, and I hope it translates into a longer-term success for this Phillies team. Because when you're paying a guy $300+ million, you need him to perform. And they need to. And we can end the show there. We can end the show with looking at the Phillies real quick. I mean, the Phillies tonight, 6:40. Who's on the mound tonight? You got Taijuan Walker. Had a decent last outing. He's had some hot outings and some cold outings. Going up against another bad pitcher for the Tigers, Tyler Anderson, 6.38 ERA. His last his last outing he went 1 inning. This guy must be a long reliever. This must be a bullpen game for the Tigers because he's 1-2, 1 in the third, 1 in the third, 2. He doesn't really pitch much. So he's not even a starter. So they're going bullpen game tonight. So the Phillies should be able to keep their winning streak going tonight. And it should be an opportunity for the Phillies hitters that are getting hot, Trea Turner, Kyle Schwarber, the ones that are already hot, Nick Castellanos, to keep it going. JT Realmuto's getting hot. I like it. I do not watch Skip much anymore. I don't watch Skip at all. Few years ago. So I was at one point when Skip Bayless, before it was Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith on ESPN, when it was Skip Bayless, when First Take was still called Cold Pizza. That's where it all got started. And the First Take debate was just a segment of the show. I was a big Skip Bayless fan. I enjoyed that desk debate, style. And I was a fan of Skip Bayless. But I knew it was a clickbait, whatever. But a few years ago, when Dak Prescott's brother, I think it was like 2 years ago, committed suicide. And I can end the show with this negative thing, bashing Skip Bayless, and then we'll wrap up the show today. So Dak Prescott's brother committed suicide. Dak Prescott after the funeral or sometime down the line after that, mentioned that he was still grieving and depressed about the loss of his brother. Skip Bayless went on the next show and said that it was I forget the words he used. Basically said it was a bad look for Dak Prescott to say, because he was the Cowboys quarterback, to say he was depressed about his brother committing suicide. As soon as I saw that, I went and I blocked Skip Bayless, because that was the most disrespectful thing I'd ever heard a sportscaster say. Criticizing a player for being sad that his brother's passed away, that his brother was depressed and couldn't get the help. Like, after that happened, I've never supported, seen. Like, the only time I know Skip Bayless says something is when somebody sends it to me. That's like the so you didn't even know about that. Like, that crossed in my mind so many lines and so many points of things you don't criticize or talk about. Like, done. I don't even want to talk about them. Vic and Russell Wilson dual threat adds a 13-player mobile. Like, we still got the Russell Wilson. Like, there was the Russell Wilson, trade that the Eagles almost made instead of giving it the keys to Jalen Hurts. But Russell Wilson said no. We'll get into that on Football Friday as well. We're going to wrap up Trey in the AM there. Great show today, guys. Thanks for everybody tuning in. Make sure you like this if you're watching it on replay. Make sure you tune in live at 8:30 every day when this show goes live to get interactive if you're watching this on replay, because the show only survives with you guys commenting, sharing, liking, doing all that great stuff. We'll be back tomorrow. More Phillies, more Sixers. We'll continue the Eagles conversation. Football Friday might be a football week. We might be talking football all week long. Go back and watch the replay of Fairway to Heaven as well. My fantasy and gambling golf pot show. It was live last night, but you can catch the replay right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. It's there under the live video tab. Turn notifications on. Do all that great stuff. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I appreciate everybody on a daily basis on this show. Everybody have a great Tuesday. I will see you tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m., live on Philadelphia Sports Network for PSN. I'm Phil Stiefel. We'll see you tomorrow.